Are you living your life, or is your life living you? Are your choices truly yours, or are they whispers from a digital echo chamber, nudging you toward what someone else wants you to want? And when you reach for peace, do you find it, or just a momentary pause before the next wave of wanting hits? What if I told you that the way you see the world, that entire landscape inside your head, isn't really you? What if it's something built, an illusion you can actually dismantle? Imagine transforming that inner mess of anxiety and automatic reactions into a calm, intentional space. This isn't about easy answers. It's an invitation to radically rebuild your inner life. It takes guts. It means facing some uncomfortable truths about yourself. Get ready for a mind-bending shift. We're at a critical point, a real test of our minds. Think back to the Stoics like Epictetus. His big idea was simple but world-changing. Distinguish what you can control from what you can't. The universe throws events, people, and circumstances at you, most of them totally indifferent to your wishes. But there's one space that's uniquely yours: your judgments, your desires, your reactions. That's where your real power lies. In our hyper-connected world, this ancient wisdom isn't just relevant, it's survival. Social media, news feeds, ads, they bombard you. They're designed to grab your attention, provoke a reaction, and shape your desires. We're constantly told what we should want, what we should fear. The digital world blurs what matters and what's just noise, leaving us reacting to the outside, forgetting the power of our own response. It chips away at deliberate thought, making us vulnerable and disconnected from ourselves. This isn't about ignoring reality, it's about recentering your focus. It's not about pretending pain doesn't exist. It's about realizing our suffering often comes not from the event itself, but from our judgment of it. A slight, a setback, a loss, those are external. Your anguish, your resentment, your despair, those are internal responses, born from your interpretation, your attachment, your resistance to what's happening. The hidden truth: you can't control the storm, but you can control how you navigate it, how you interpret its fury, and what you choose to build afterward. This power isn't given, it's built, muscle by muscle, moment by moment. Think of your mind as a massive library. For most of your life, you've been a passive reader, flipping through pages written by external forces, bestsellers, trending topics, gossip. You're fed stories about who you should be, what success looks like. But what if you were also the librarian, the curator, the author? What if you could choose which books to open, which to put back, and even start writing your own? The trap is mistaking borrowed stories for your own truth, letting the library's catalog define your entire reality. You forget you hold the keys to every section, the power to commission new works, and the authority to discard outdated narratives. This library is your consciousness, and you can redesign it. The psychology behind this is often a mix of cognitive dissonance, that uncomfortable clash when your beliefs meet reality, and confirmation bias. When something external bumps up against your core beliefs, it creates friction. To ease that friction, you might twist reality to fit your existing story, or only seek out info that proves you're right, even if it's wrong. This creates a feedback loop, trapping you in your own interpretations, mistaking your inner narrative for objective fact. This is how you get stuck in thought patterns that hurt you while feeling absolutely convinced they're right.
Take Sarah, a talented designer who feels undervalued. High expectations from childhood made her believe she's superior. When her boss gives her a less glamorous project, she sees it not as a work decision, but a personal insult, a confirmation of her fear. She's not truly recognized. So she withdraws. Her work suffers. She finds colleagues who agree she's mistreated, reinforcing her victim narrative. Nights are spent reading about unrecognized artists, solidifying her story. Recognize this tendency in yourself? The devastating consequence for Sarah? A self-fulfilling prophecy. Her perceived lack of recognition leads to disengagement, which then leads to actual lack of recognition, trapping her in bitterness and stagnation. She alienates potential allies and blocks her own growth. Then there's Mark, a successful entrepreneur haunted by the fear of failure. His father, who lost everything, wired that fear into him. Mark's internal script is constant vigilance, anticipating the worst. A minor setback in a new venture, a delayed shipment, a lukewarm market response, immediately triggers thoughts of bankruptcy, losing his home, becoming his father's cautionary tale. He freezes, paralyzed by indecision. He can't take the risks his business needs. He micromanages his team to exhaustion. Does this sound like a familiar internal monologue? The long-term cost for Mark, not just crippling stress, but the stifling of his own potential. He's building a fragile empire on a foundation of fear, making it more susceptible to the very failures he dreads. And Emily, who craves deep connection but shies away from intimacy. Her childhood had inconsistent emotional presence from her parents, teaching her love is conditional, easily withdrawn. When a partner offers genuine affection, her internal alarm bells scream. She interprets their kindness as a prelude to abandonment, their vulnerability as a weakness they'll exploit. So she creates distance. She pushes people away, sabotages relationships with fights or emotional withdrawal, all to avoid the perceived inevitability of being left. Do you find yourself building invisible walls when connection is offered? The devastating long-term consequence for Emily? Profound loneliness. A self-imposed exile from the very human connection she craves, leaving a persistent emptiness and the belief that she's fundamentally unlovable. The collective cost of this is immense. Lost opportunities, fractured relationships, unfulfilled potential, a constant undercurrent of anxiety and dissatisfaction. We pay with our peace of mind, our joy, and our ability to truly engage with the world as it is, not as we fear or wish it to be. This is the hidden tax on a life lived reactively, the price we pay for surrendering our inner sovereignty. The path to liberation from this self-imposed cage is tough, but it's the only path to true freedom. True freedom here isn't the absence of external problems. It's the unshakable sovereignty of your inner world. It's the profound realization that while the world throws storms at you, you possess the inner compass, the steady hand, the resilient spirit to navigate them without losing your way. It's the strength to choose your response, to cultivate your inner garden no matter the external weather. Here's the first practical step: radical acceptance of the dichotomy of control. What? Consciously, relentlessly, distinguish what you can influence from what you can't. Why? Our suffering often comes not from events, but from our futile attempts to control the uncontrollable or resist what's already here. Accepting this reclaims your energy, shifting it from external battles to internal growth. How? When faced with a tough situation, ask, is this outcome driven by my actions or my will, or by external factors, others, or chance? If it's external, acknowledge it without judgment. Flight delayed? You can't control the airline. Your control is your reaction, your patience, your choice to read, your decision to get info. Challenges? Your ingrained desire to fix everything, your fear of appearing passive, and the sheer discomfort of letting go of the illusion of total control are your main hurdles. You might feel helpless at first, but that's the fertile ground where true agency grows.
Next, practice vicarious disengagement. What?
Learn to observe your thoughts, emotions, and desires as if they belong to someone else, without identifying with them or reacting impulsively. Why? You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes them. Creating space between observer and observed breaks the automatic chain of reaction. How? When a strong emotion or intrusive thought hits, pause, take a breath. Mentally label it, I'm having the thought that, or I'm feeling the emotion of. Imagine these as clouds passing or leaves on a river. Acknowledge them, but don't cling or let them steer your ship. Challenges? This demands serious mental discipline. Your ego will fight this detachment because it thrives on identification. You'll constantly feel the pull to get lost in the emotional narrative, to believe your thoughts are absolute truth. The challenge? To maintain this gentle, curious observation even when the internal storm rages. And finally, intentional cultivation of inner virtue. What? Actively and deliberately build your core virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, temperance, as your primary internal tools. Why? External circumstances are unpredictable, but building your character is entirely within your control. These virtues are the bedrock of resilience, the source of true fulfillment, providing an unshakable foundation no matter what happens externally. How? Pick one virtue for the week. Wisdom? Seek knowledge. Reflect on your experiences. Think critically. Courage? Step outside your comfort zone in small, manageable ways. Temperance? Practice moderation with your desires. Journal your progress, noting how these virtues show up in your daily actions. Challenges? This is a lifelong practice, not a quick fix. You'll face doubt, laziness, the temptation to choose immediate gratification over long-term character. The challenge lies in the consistent, often unglamorous daily effort to embody these principles, even when the outside world offers easier but less rewarding distractions. The difficulty you'll face in these practices isn't failure. It's a sign of growth. Every moment of resistance, every slip back into old patterns is a chance to observe, learn, and recommit. Pain, discomfort, frustration, these aren't signals you're doing it wrong. They're signals that you're stretching your capacity, challenging your limits, and doing the vital work of self-transformation. Embrace these signals as the necessary friction that polishes the diamond of your character. You've been given a profound reorientation, the power of distinguishing what you can control and the imperative to focus there. This isn't passive acceptance of fate. It's an active reclaiming of your inner sovereignty. The choice is stark. Keep reacting to the external, letting your peace and potential be dictated by forces beyond your command, or cultivate the unshakable strength of your inner life, becoming the conscious architect of your own experience. As you move through your day, reflect on this fundamental dichotomy. Where are you spending your precious energy? On the uncontrollable winds of circumstance, or on the steady cultivation of your inner garden? What seeds of virtue will you plant today?